everyone. Welcome to another LAWsome episode. I'm your host, Tanner Jones, along with my co-host, Matt Smyers. Kicking off this episode with Ron Sheetz and Greg McCullom. Ron owns RJ Media Magic. Greg manages his own practice at Complete Legal Defense Team. They've partnered to host the first annual Prosper at Law conference, specifically geared for criminal defense attorneys. Today's topic is on building a modern criminal defense firm through technology, intake, and leadership. Welcome, guys.
Hello there.
Absolutely. No, I'm grateful to have both of you, and I appreciate what you're doing, especially in this criminal defense vertical. Greg, it's been said that many criminal defense lawyers who practice across the country are they're getting the business of law wrong. Can you speak to that concept?
I think that's universal. The business of law is something that lawyers are not attuned to, and there seems also to be a thing that's unique to criminal defense lawyers. It's almost like, think about a cowboy riding a horse out on the range by himself or herself. They are somewhat isolated, and up until now there have not been a lot of products and services to teach criminal defense lawyers specifically about law firm growth and management and marketing.
We talked earlier about this being the first annual Prosper at Law conference. Why do you think it was important to build a conference specifically for criminal defense attorneys?
That really arose out of my own experience. I've been involved with a lot of different organizations, and I've learned a lot. And all of the things that I participated in, which don't get me wrong, they helped me enormously. They got me to where I am now with my, having a 7-figure criminal defense law firm, which pretty much operates without me. But everything was focused on other practice areas, and specifically personal injury law. And it was extremely helpful, and the people that run those programs are friends of mine and people that I respect. There are certain aspects of a criminal defense law firm, though, that are unlike other practice areas. And so this was something that there was a need. It was a need for me personally, and also it was a need for other lawyers, and something that I thought could really help other lawyers, reduce their stress, get more free time, and grow their businesses and make more money.
Yeah, we've talked on the LAWsome podcast before about lawyers just commonly wearing too many hats. It's just a natural state that they find themselves in. And we have listeners from, all stages of growth, those that have just hung a shingle, starting practice, to those who have been practicing for 3 decades, many of which are still in that doing it all kind of mindset. And I would ask, from your perspective and what you've seen working with criminal defense lawyers in mastermind type sessions, at what point does that mindset of just doing it all stop being more admirable and is more of just an obstacle to their growth and, frankly, their sanity?
My experience has been, and I'd like Ron to follow up on this, but has been that what I've found is that they're just unaware, that they don't know what they don't know. They don't know they're doing it wrong. They have a lot of frustrations when it comes to time and stress, and they don't know there's a solution. They've just never heard of it before.
Yeah, being in the mastermind and having that direct contact with criminal defense attorneys, as well as other practice areas, it seems to be the criminal defense attorney is, as Greg said, is kind of the cowboy, is that they take on and they understand that the business it's them, what they have to do. And interestingly, in the mastermind meetings, there's two parts of it that I've seen as a non-attorney. Is one, those that finally make the decision to commit and come, they come very sheepishly because they're still guarded and protected. Because I've discovered that the criminal defense attorney really is a guarded personality. They're constantly in that fight or flight mode. So first exposing to a mastermind, but then an event is very different from them. However, the thing that I've observed, once they've gotten in there, there's this relief that comes over them of, God, I am in a safe place. I mean, we've told them that, but they don't necessarily believe it. And they come in and this is really a safe place. And, Tanner and Matt and Greg and I, we've all been in masterminds. So we understand that it's a lot more about getting together with the people, like-minded people. And once they break through, the advancements start to come. And we have several members that just in the last year and a half, I mean, total change. I mean, life-changing for them on how they're approaching the business. And now they're figuring out, hey, I don't have to do this alone. There are other ways.
Ron, you're the legal tech guru of the group here, and you've had extensive experience in that space, both from a personal injury standpoint with PILMA and now here with Prosper at Law with criminal defense. And so, specific to criminal defense, a two-part question for you. What do you think is the biggest challenge from a tech standpoint for criminal defense firms? And what do you think is the biggest opportunity?
It's a great question. And they may be one and the same. The answer may be one and the same for both, is that, and I've learned this not just in the law space, but working with entrepreneurs in other spaces, is that getting to understand that the thing you do, what you deliver, is not really what people are buying or coming to. In a marketing side, it's trust. Trust is the biggest thing to get people past. So the obstacle and the breakthrough is getting a criminal defense attorney to understand that people are buying them first rather than what it is that they can do for them. Because quite honestly, and not a dispersion to anybody, but if you have a law degree, you're technically capable. However, what is it beyond that law degree that people are looking for? And in any industry, it's the trust, it's the people, it's the connection. So the big opportunity is really promoting who they are. So for instance, in Greg's book, From Chaos to Control, I mean, he gets, for lack of a better term, emotionally and psychologically naked in the book and telling his story. And in doing so, he's revealing he's just like everybody else. And that's the hard part for many criminal defense attorneys to break through. And, we all know the story of Johnny Cochran and, O.J. Simpson in that. And Johnny Cochran may not have been a better attorney than anybody else, but he got to become, he made a career after O.J. Simpson on that, because that's what I want. I want that guy to be that guy for me. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. So Greg, same question for you, maybe not limited to tech, but as a practicing criminal defense attorney, what do you see are the biggest challenges right now in the space, and what do you think is the biggest opportunity?
It's an interesting question, and it's something that I look at a lot with my own law firm in terms of, artificial intelligence and intake systems and marketing systems, and specifically how the search for criminal defense lawyers is changing now with AI, and how we have to be ready for that. In terms of talking to the criminal defense lawyers, though, that I speak to and that I examine when I look under the hood, it is such a low bar for them, because if you have been in business, you understand basic business principles and understand the engine and how it should run. When you look at lawyers and see what they're doing behind the scenes, they really aren't doing anything at even like a basic level. Like if you compared them to a marketing company or a vendor or people that do things for lawyers, and you look at even the words they use, this is just completely foreign to lawyers. They just don't understand some of the most basic things. Even when you take a consult, in other words, how do you get a client? You have a client, they don't understand the marketing. But then even after the marketing, if they don't do any marketing and they get everybody by word of mouth or people that come in, they don't understand the sales conversation. They don't understand the parts of it. They don't know there are parts of it. And I remember years ago when I was practicing, there was a lawyer in town that I admired, and he had a reputation for charging big fees and being very successful. And I remember thinking, I wish I could shadow him and find out how he did it. Now, interestingly, once I learned the things that I've learned, I realized that he didn't really do the things I thought he did, because he doesn't know either, okay? But no one would tell you anything. So when you go talk to a lawyer and you're thinking about hiring the lawyer, lawyers will just start analyzing your case, because that's all they know to do. They don't know to ask you what you want and when do you want it. They just don't approach it that way. So in terms of the technology and things like that, those are vitally important, but that's almost something that has to come later. That's like high school or college, and these guys are in kindergarten.
Ron, I would ask you, from your experience, is there a single piece of technology or software that you would recommend criminal defense lawyers implement, if they haven't done so already, that would help them save time or make money?
Boy, that's a tough question to narrow it in, because I realized in Matt's question, I really didn't get into the technical side of it. But it's probably not as in-depth as you might want. But going back to is building the personality. So video. Video is a technology. We're on a podcast here where everybody gets the matter to meet each other, see each other. So for a criminal defense attorney, just doing video and putting video out there on their website, putting out a YouTube channel. I remember when I first got into this 35, 40 years ago, it was always the frequently asked questions was really the big thing you did in videos. That's morphed into and should morph into the SAQs, the should ask questions, because especially for criminal defense, people, it's their first time. They don't know what they should be asking. And unfortunately, they'll be making a decision on an attorney based on erroneous information. So it's first get on video, get in front of people, reassure them, build trust. Now, the challenge with that is criminal defense attorneys getting to do it. So the technology, Tanner, you'd know as well as I do. There's a ton of different video things out there that they can use. The thing that I see many businesses make the mistake of is they want the video to be professional. I have to be professional. No, you don't have to be professional. You need to be real. So I have actually coached and encouraged clients. It's like when you're getting ready in the morning and you're having your cup of coffee, talk to the viewer, record that 2-3 minutes about, here, I got an idea. If you're driving along, pull off the side of the road, take a video. See, those things are real. And if we look at Facebook and we look at YouTube and look, what are the things that get the highest views? They're real videos, not professional videos. Does that answer your question?
That's great. And then we're big believers in it. We're seeing it naturally. Greg referenced the AI world we're all living in now and how that's changing consumer behavior, consumer research, and video obviously is an incredible platform to be picked up. YouTube is a widely sourced platform through AI visibility. And so, yeah, it's a dual front. You're able to showcase who you are, your authenticity, which speaks to that trust piece, which we've talked about, but also feed the visibility in AI. So I love that answer. I'm big proponents of it.
Now, there's something that I'll add that I've started advising clients to do because of this time of AI, that there is an AI consumers that they understand and they know what it is. I'm advising clients that if you're filming videos that are you, put a disclaimer on it that says this is not AI generated, because we're in this world where we're seeing TV commercials that are made by AI and we can't really tell, is it real or is it not? So just that little thing of this was not AI generated is a small little hinge that swings a big door with people in trust.
Greg, I'd like to circle back to something that you touched on earlier. And as you can imagine, almost every one of our guests here on LAWsome, there's discussion, reference to technology, AI, automation, how to be more efficient, et cetera, the blocking and tackling of how to use technology in the firm. But another common theme that comes up with our guests in the personal injury space is the human element to practicing law, and how there is still tremendous value on the PI side in being a true trial lawyer and storytelling. Do you see parallels there with criminal defense and the value in having that client experience and the human element to the practice?
Yeah, I think that, storytelling is it's just such a ingrained part of who we are as human beings. And, we've learned by stories for millennia, and stories are captivating. And so for a lawyer in court trying a case, they have to tell that story of presenting the client and the client situation so that somebody will relate and care about it. And then the same thing is relevant and vital in terms of client acquisition and drawing the client to be interested in the lawyer, and then using technology because of that. So it's such a competitive space. And the lawyers, they just, they don't want to learn the technology. They don't want to learn the techniques. Every lawyer I know wants it done for you, and they all struggle with acquisition. They all struggle with intake, and they all struggle with making the phone ring. And so they're looking out there, and they're distrustful of people that are saying that they can make it work for them. And so, like, for what you guys do is vitally important, because what you provide is what lawyers are looking for. They want a trusted expert who can enter into a relationship with them, evaluate their practice and their needs, and draw clients to them, attract clients to them, because that's crucial. If the phone is ringing and you know how to charge fees, and you know how to collect fees as a lawyer, and the money's coming in, and you have the client traffic, that gives you the ability to solve the other problems. Then you can learn what to do. You can hire experts to help you. But the key is to get the client to get the money. And then the other thing about, personal injury, probably a lot of people think, well, maybe I'll be in a car wreck one day. And those are, one-off events. But criminal defense, no one ever really expects that they're going to be arrested, unless they're just a, habitual criminal. But those typically aren't the clients for a private law firm. So no one expects it. It comes from out of the blue, and now it's an emergency. Now it's a crisis. And for the first time ever, now they need a lawyer. They need a law firm. And it's something they never even thought about. And so being able to handle that and have someone that can help them do that and create a system and a process so that those people will not only contact the law firm, but they will feel that trust and be willing to retain the lawyer and literally entrust them with their life and their future. That is the key to it as far as I can see.
Greg, I love what you guys are doing in the criminal defense vertical, especially through the mastermind groups and educating lawyers to just make better decisions with their business and find that balance in life and business. And I know we referenced the first ever conference, the Prosper at Law conference coming up. It's September 19th and 20th. Is that right? September 19th and 20th, 2026.
I defer to Ron on the dates because I don't know what is wrong with me, but I'm terrible with dates. So it's the 19th and 20th, right?
Yeah, it's a Saturday and Sunday intentionally, because then it doesn't get in the way of court dates, dockets, client things. But the 19th and 20th in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
This is an exciting event. ConsultWebs, we're excited to be part of it, and ultimately, because you've niched down into such a specific vertical, this is a masterclass of information for criminal defense lawyers. But I'd love to hear, Greg or Ron, what's the long-term vision for this event? Where do you hope it's going to be in 5 years from now?
One of the things I would say is that this is the first event, but we will have more events each year. The Prosper Law program, if somebody's a member, they will get 3 events per year. There'll be 3 opportunities for them to travel either to Myrtle Beach or to another location, hear the experts, hear from lawyers who are being successful. Our agenda is we have people that can come in and teach them how to do a particular thing, but we also have lawyers on stage who are successful sharing that. And I'm building a kind of a biosphere or a group or an association of lawyers that will come to 3 events per year and learn with each other and advance with each other and be a part of a community of criminal defense lawyers exclusively who are interested in growing their practices and improving their lives and the lives of their clients.
And if I could add, like what you're doing at the event, Tanner, is we want to do things that are different. So you're doing a workshop for us at the event rather than just getting on stage and talking. And because the group is going to be intentionally small at first because we want them to go away with tangible things that they can do and implement and see immediate response, immediate results when they get back. So for me, the long term is to have it turn into the go-to place. There's others in personal injury that you and I both know, and Greg knows, that have become that kind of place. That's ultimately the vision for Prosper at Law, is to be that trusted go-to place, that safe place for criminal defense attorneys who do want to grow. They do want freedom in their life. They want to make more money, and they want to have a vacation and spend time with their family. I've been amazed in talking to them that what their aspirations and goals are when they do finally reveal it. I think we're on a worthwhile journey, and having you guys involved is going to be helpful and paramount because you know what you're doing and you're providing not just a talk, but going to walk the walk with them and show them. So we really are looking forward to that.
That's right. So are we. We're excited about the opportunity, and I would invite all of our listeners, if you practice criminal defense, this is an opportunity you do not want to miss. Ron, what's the best way for someone to find more information about the event?
Sure. They can go to prosperatlaw.com/tech intake sales. So again, that's www.prosperatlaw.com/tech intake sales. That's because the primary focus of this inaugural event is going to be on technology. It's going to be on intake procedures and selling, on sales, which is always a dirty word for people, but you just can't get around it. That's the business of law.
Very helpful. And guys, we appreciate so much your willingness to hop on, share a little bit more about what you're doing over at Prosper at Law. Is there any final comments or things maybe that you would have wished we would have asked you in this conversation?
Not for me. I think this has been good. The main thing is thank you for helping us get the word out so criminal defense lawyers will know where they can go to learn and get better. We're very excited about the event. We're excited to have you guys there helping, and we're looking forward to a fantastic event exclusively for criminal defense lawyers. That the criminal defense lawyers are going to have a place that they can go and learn what they need to learn that applies specifically to them.
And not have to sift and sort and test and practice from other practice areas.
Greg, Ron, thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.